Good evening. Welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this evening. Celtic have made moves for a striker. And not only a striker, but a Colombian striker. Oh, they could just imagine the headlines now. The Colombian marching powder heads into Celtic Park. Have made moves. But there's one thing for sure, we are in need of a top quality striker. But before we talk about the striker and a bit of background information about him, we're going to listen to Stephen McManus. Because Stephen McManus has said one of the most ridiculous comments that supporters will ever think made about Gavin Strachan being absolutely tremendous. Let's listen to Stephen McManus talking about Gavin Strachan.
You mentioned Gavin having moved on and the manager's given you another coaching colleague in Ross Grant that's joined. I don't know if you knew Ross before this, but seems to come with a bit of a set piece expertise as well. Is that an area we can look to see getting developed?
I think it's certainly an area that as the game's evolved over the last 4 or 5 years, the work that Gavin done with the set plays was incredible.
What? Can we hear that again from Stephen McManus, just in case you missed it?
Done with the set plays was incredible. The work that Gavin done with the set plays was incredible. 5 years, the work that Gavin done with the set plays was incredible.
I think you need to go to Mass and give us at least 10 Hail Marys and 10 Our Fathers after that, Stephen. A lot of Celtic fans will think, what the hell did McManus just say?
The work that Gavin done with the set plays was incredible, because he's a top fella and a top coach. So Gavin's going to be a big miss. Ross has come in again, new ideas, fresh ideas, and he focused a lot with the set pieces. So we welcome him into the coaching staff, and you can see that the qualities as a person, as a coach, that he's going to bring. So we're excited to see how it goes.
Excited to see how it goes, talking about the new set-piece coach that was stole from Hearts. But Camilo Duran is a player that was bought by Karabag, and there is a bit of breaking news tonight about Ange Postecoglou before we go on. It looks like Ange Postecoglou will now be Ronaldo's manager. It's all about the money. It's all about the power. Anyway, yeah, that's enough about Ange. Let's get back on to this striker that Celtic are looking at. And if I've got this screen right, we should be able to do that. He is valued at around about €2 million. And Celtic lowballed him. Celtic lowballed him for a £2 million striker. Now, the interesting part is that he scored last season 5 goals in the UEFA Champions League. For Celtic to get a striker for a couple of £1 million that scored in the Champions League is a massive deal. He scored 24 goals. Is that in total? I don't know where we're getting adverts there. But yeah, he has scored 5 goals in the UEFA Champions League, as you see there. So Celtic looks like they're going to get this deal done. It will be interesting. He's played in some decent games. He's played against teams at a decent level in the Champions League. He's played against Benfica, Copenhagen, Athletic Club, Chelsea, Napoli, Ajax, Eintracht, Frankfurt, Liverpool, Newcastle. Do you know what? If this deal is going to happen, and it looks like it is, it looks like it could be a fantastic addition to the club. And the fact that he can play as a striker, and he can also play as a winger. He can play on the left, he can play on the right. Camilo Duran makes the Huns look shite. There we go, we've got the song for him already. Anyway, that is your big news tonight with regards to Celtic. It looks like we are making things move. 1 week after Martin O'Neill finally came back to pre-season training with Celtic, Celtic have made an offer for a player. It wasn't enough, but it looks like that Celtic are still in negotiations, and that will That will be absolutely fantastic. 40 million still to spend, says CFC Jack. Maybe sometimes it's better not to say anything, says Gav Boy. How's that? Is Ronaldo signing for us? Lol. Yeah, I wouldn't want Ange Postecoglou back at Celtic. It'll be good to see Ange Postecoglou with these big name players, and he's he's a journeyman, Ange. Do you know what I mean? Dave Martin says that we need 2 strikers. Mark is watching from Ireland. Big up the Irish. And Nacho scored 5 and 6 subs and scored in Euro, chopped off. I don't know why people are getting excited about Iniacho. He's not going to be a Celtic player. I don't know if you're going to believe in the process of Martin O'Neill being manager. Martin O'Neill didn't fancy Iniacho. I go back to the I'm going to dig out the interview where Martin O'Neill spoke about Iniacho and he said that he asked Iniacho, he looked him in the eye and said, do you feel that you're coming back and you're at your prime as a player? Because that's where I need you to be. And he said, yes, I am. And Martin O'Neill went, that'll be that then. Still want Sriracha and Rocco says, chill pill. I'd rather have Ange than still game extra. Oh, that's terrible. Colin Martin O'Neill, a still game extra. I would love Ange's style of football back. You may get that with Martin O'Neill next season. We're talking about Monball. Watching from Wales. Big up CFC Jack, watching from Wales. Can't even pay half for a player that is tried and tested. You would think that Celtic would just go in, wouldn't he? I mean, if he's only valued at €2 million, and he's scored in the Champions League for Karabag, you just go in and go, like, there's the 2 million. It's nothing. Don't know, in the grand scale of things, it's pocket change for Celtic. Don't know, you just go and get the deal done. You don't F about. Don't know, and that's what Celtic do. They F about. Big time. Although he scored those goals for Karabag, I mean, he hasn't played at a high level, but it could be just the person that Celtic need. Martin was not playing players, Maloney was. Martin was not picking players, Maloney was. That was last season. I think going forward this season, it'll be Martin O'Neill players, which says a lot about Sean Maloney then. Because Martin O'Neill did say if the players were a fantastic success, he would, and this is Martin O'Neill's own words, he said if the players were a fantastic success, he would take on all the credit. And if they weren't a success, they're shite, aren't they? Fozzie and Maloney, young team trying to tell me what to do. Anyway, it is what it is. Let me just run through now. Duran, how about a pack of Haribos and 10 quid? Yeah, that's probably what Celtic went in and offered. But anyway, that is your breaking news tonight. Other than that, looks like Celtic are still trying to make the deal for the goalkeeper that was spoken about this morning. They're still trying to get that through. Anthony Joseph of Sky News says that Celtic are in talks with the Karabag forward, Camilo Duran. It's understood that the clubs were initially far apart on valuation, but the negotiation continued. The Colombian 24-year-old has 2 years left on his contract. Last season scored 15 goals, including 5 in the Champions League. When you look at the player, I mean, you go on about Kyogo Furiashi being a bit lightweight for Scottish football. It's not the big, bulky. I mean, let's face it, Martin O'Neill knows a good player when he sees him. And if he sees even an ounce of Henrik Larsson-esque type player, and you know, if he's even quarter of the player that Henrik was in Martin's eyes, I think that it could be a fantastic signing for the club. And at the end of the day, we've got to let Martin decide on who he wants at the club. We can't be telling him, no, you need to bring in good. Rejected. Always happens to us. Yes, it does that. Yeah, we've spoke about Ange. We don't care about Ange anymore. It's all about the money. He's going to be Ronaldo's manager for a year before Ronaldo hangs up the books. Dermot Desmond at the door, slam it in his face. And this is very true. It wouldn't stretch Celtic to a Haribo. They would give official Celtic. Yeah. I'm not even going to put that one up because it's yeah. Other than that, that is it for this evening. It's just a quick live to say that Celtic finally are in action. See, they don't need to come out and tell us that they're making bid for players. They'll just do it behind closed doors and get on with it. If Celtic come in and say Celtic sign 4 players next week, that will change the dynamics of everything within the support, won't it? Can there be any complaints if Celtic were to bring in 5 players next week? Say Celtic managed to bring in a goalkeeper, a striker, and a couple of other players before they head over to Portugal. What are the fans going to moan about then? Anyway, if we do sign players, it will probably be 3 players until we get the Champions League game. See what happens after that. Nothing is going to change with the board. Glaswegian Ian is still very, very negative when it comes to the board. Anyway, I am a bit bored of this on a Friday night, so I'm going to head off to the pub. Have a fantastic evening, Celtic fans, wherever you are, even the haters, all around the world.